I feel like I have to apologize, or at the very least, offer an explanation. I know most of you saw the weeks passing by and thought, here we go, he's disappeared again, but I promise you, it's nothing like that. Every time we thought the script was complete, something new happened every single time. Blessed Geza, the war vet who has been threatening the president, is on the run, allegedly. And blessed Mhlanga, the journalist who recorded those blessed Geza videos, was arrested. Zitrapi had the name Blessed one too many times and thought, 1:1. 1:1. Okay, Zimbabwe fired the CEO, the CFO, and the supply chain manager. And they brought back 2 of their former CEOs to see if they could jumpstart things. Do you know how bad things have to be going for you to go back to not 1, but 2 of your exes and say, what do I say? There's been scandal after scandal for the Harare City Council. A commission of inquiry was appointed to investigate. You won't believe the findings so far. Mayor Jacob Mafume was found guilty of perjury, but not before he snitched that top council officials were paying themselves northwards of 30,000 a month, to which the whole of Harare was head shouting, 30,000? For what? Tawanda Nyambirai, the lawyer who founded the bank we all now know as Stewart Bank, and then later sold it to Econet Wireless, has bought it back, fired the entire board except Tanya Masiwa, Strike Masiwa's daughter, and put himself back in charge. At some point in all this, the president left the country for Addis Ababa, and he left his other vice president in charge. But he made sure to come back before anyone could get any funny ideas. In America, Donald Kushikamati Sori Trump is doing everything to let everyone know that he is back and in charge. But right next to him, Elon Pajoza and Idzoke Musk is also trying to let people know that he is the one in charge. It's cute now, but it won't end well. Right next door in South Africa, Julius Malema and the EFF are going through a most difficult time. Comrades have been jumping ship left, right, and center. It feels a lot like what Morgan Tsvangirai was going through back in 2005. Safe to say, we as Zimbabweans have seen this movie before. And because we have seen this movie before, we feel confident in telling Julius that it gets worse. It absolutely gets worse. Wait till the South African equivalent of Douglas Munzora shows up. Then you will know. Was it also last week that we saw army trucks in and around Harare, and Nick Mangwana was very quick to say, no, don't worry. It's been a busy few weeks. Let's see if we can unpack it. Ladies and gentlemen, war vets and unfocused youth, welcome to another episode of Propaganda with Kandoro. If it was up to me, our focus this week would be the Harare City Council. How did things get this bad for the Sunshine City? Whose idea was it to put fuel stations on every corner, or to turn the entire CBD into one big flea market, poorly disguised as malls? It's very easy to dismiss the mess in Harare as a Harare problem for Harare people, but you would be wrong. One of the greatest failures of the Mugabe administration and this current administration has been their unwillingness to decentralize Zimbabwe. I'm calling it an unwillingness because it's certainly not inability. That unwillingness has meant that to this day, all major hospitals and life-saving machines we have in Zimbabwe are in Harare. Not only are all the major government buildings in Harare, but all the important processes have to either be initiated or completed in Harare. The only major airport we have in Zimbabwe, the only one, is in Harare. When the things that happened in November of 2017 happened, they happened in Harare. We might not like to admit it, but Harare is very much a wee problem. Let's start with the water situation. In 1980, the government inherited a deeply divided society where racial lines had long dictated access to essential resources. The early white settlers had relied on water from the Mukuvisi stream, more specifically Cleveland Dam. But as the settler community grew, so did the water demand. This led to the construction of the Prince Edward Dam on the Manyame River. In 1952, Lake McIlwain, I want to thank Biananda for renaming it to Lake Chivero because in 1952, Lake Chivero was created on the Unyani River to further support the settler community. By 1972, the lake only met 95% of Salisbury's water needs, and the Darwendale Dam had to be expanded and integrated into the system, securing a steady supply of water for affluent suburbs like Highlands, Borodale, Marlborough, and Alexander Park. In contrast, access to water in high-density suburbs, Kwema Ghetto Youth, was controlled and rationed by the state. What you got is what you got. 45 years after independence, Harare is home to no less than 2 million people, and yet it solely relies on a system that was designed to cater for a few 100,000 white people. Since 1980, much has been said about the water situation in Harare. Much has been promised, but very, very little has actually been realized. In 2005, the cabinet mandated that all urban municipalities transfer their water supply and sanitation functions along with their revenue collection systems to the new kid on the block, Zinwa. This move effectively stripped the MDC-controlled councils of critical revenue generated from water tariffs, which on paper they intended to use for maintaining infrastructure and other related social works. I say on paper because, hey, yay. Currently, there is a commission of inquiry led by Justice Mafios Cheda looking into the dealings at Townhouse. The prevailing theory is that the commission of inquiry is just a ploy by the ruling party to take over the day-to-day runnings. Has anyone noticed how Justice Cheda is kind of like the go-to guy for this administration when they want to... When there was a tribunal to look into the conduct of John Makamure at the Zimbabwe Anti-Corruption Commission, Justice Cheda was... When Justice Edith Mushore, a High Court judge, had her conduct in office issues, Justice Cheda... When there were concerns about Justice Mabikwa's conduct at the High Court, Kobulawayo, Justice Cheda chaired the first half of the tribunal. If Zimbabwe was a high school, Justice Cheda would be the... Justice Cheda would be the teacher on Rover Steady. You guys thought I would say Justice Cheda would be the headmaster. Headmaster Aripo. 2030. If this supposed plot is successful, it would not be the first time that a commission has run the city of Harare. In 2004, Elias Mudzuri was removed from office, and rather than let the MDC-controlled council elect a replacement, the then Minister of Local Government, Ignatius Chombo, intervened and appointed Sekesai Makwavarara to head up the commission. This effectively marked the end of the executive mayor role in Harare. The most notable thing about Makwavarara's reign was a trip to Russia to buy my kitten. I wish I was joking. The water problem in Harare actually scratched that. The water problems in Zimbabwe are not so much about who is running the council. The problems start with the water system itself. It's antiquated. The system was never meant to cater for this many people. In Harare alone, no less than 9,000 kilometers of aging pipes need to be replaced. Otherwise, Harare will continue losing at least 60% of its treated water. According to embattled Mayor Mafume, Harare has a daily production capacity of 300 megaliters, which falls short of the 800 megaliters required per day to keep the city functional. And don't even think for a second, these people don't know what the real problem is or how to solve it. They know. Every 2 years, without fail, an article will come out about how an assessment is being made to see how much needs to be changed and updated, how to upgrade the infrastructure at Jeffrey Morton Waterworks, but nothing ever materializes. A tender is advertised, somebody wins the tender, some people complain, and articles are written, and people toy, and the cycle continues. Simply put, there is people at Townhouse who are not doing their jobs, who are sleeping at the wheel. That is how Harare has ended up with developments going up on top of Westlands, with service stations being built every 2 kilometers. Because no one gets into council and sees it as an opportunity for greater good, as an opportunity to build something that will survive and benefit generations. On paper, they say they do. When they take their vows, they commit. But in reality, they see it as an opportunity to balance the scales in their own personal favor. Because how do you explain a new councillor suddenly having 4 stands? How do you explain somebody who works for the Harare City Council accepting a $10,000 a month salary, let alone 30,000?
I think the paper that I read, the town clerk was the highest with 27,000 US
a month.
A month, yes. And
Does that include any other perks, or it was just straight salary there?
it was a gross figure. It then had
Some
20
allowances.
Yeah, it then had allowances.
So approximately how much, if you look at those figures, 27,000 gross plus allowance, what would it come to?
Plus our allowances, it will come out to a huge figure.
Yes, what is the huge figure? What is the huge figure?
It would probably go into around 30,000 or thereabouts.
Which Harare are you living in? What is it that you're doing on a daily basis that can justify you getting so much while working for the same council that hasn't paid its employees since November? History tells us it doesn't matter who is in charge at Tana, ZANU-PF or MDC, the same problems will persist. What we need are stronger institutions, institutions that can rise above the self-serving ambitions of politicians, institutions that can hold smaller institutions like the Harare City Council to account. If the Ministry of Local Government was a strong institution and its halls were filled with men and women of strong resolve and repute, we would sleep easy, knowing that the nonsense happening at Harare City Council would not go on for much longer. But sleeping is a luxury we can't afford because the good people at the Ministry of Local Government have bigger fish to fry.
We are the people who have spoken. It's unstoppable. Ati ikuti mtizowedzera vana mukoti kana manese nemadhokta basa mabp awandisa tasvika mugora 2030 muchitatenda saka ibva yamangobatana nesu chete pakuchengetesa. And 2 weeks ago, Honorable Councillors, you may want to know that all our members of parliament, including those from the opposition stables, visited Pre-Camp Farm. And all of them pledged to support Vision 2030. Which means it is important that councillors from all political persuasions speak like their elder brothers, the members of parliament.
Despite the president coming out no less than 5 times to say that he is going to follow the constitution and the 2-term limit proclaimed in the constitution, this 2030 agenda remains the minister's top priority. We absolutely need stronger institutions, not buildings. Institutions that dictate the mandate and not the other way around. The Anti-Corruption Commission needs to be a strong institution because currently it just looks like a score settling machine, focusing only on those who have fallen out of favor with the administration. The Reserve Bank absolutely needs to be a strong institution, an institution that instills confidence in its citizens when it communicates policy and not undermine. An institution where trial and error are not part of the vocabulary. Do you remember when Ntuli appointed AC Lumumba to some bogus team and then fired him within 3 days? Because I remember. Our police need to be a strong institution. When the police released a statement concerning Blessed Geza, they linked him with 4 criminal charges. 2 counts of insulting the office of the president, 1 count of inciting public violence, and 1 count of theft involving 3 vehicles. That theft allegation is the one that is most interesting to me because there is no context to it. Has the police always known about these theft allegations? And if so, why didn't they pursue them prior? Why wait until now? But more importantly, what does arresting Blessed Mhlanga do? Because that man is a journalist. He was reporting the news. If anything, this man is a hero because he's given you evidence of this man who is allegedly inciting public violence and insulting the president. I don't get it. Our institutions have been weaponized and the citizens know it. So it shouldn't come as a surprise when news of armored trucks on the streets comes with a tinge of excitement from the people. It's a sign of how broken we are. It's not normal to live in a society where differing perspective is seen as being unpatriotic. Differing opinions should be encouraged. As a matter of fact, differing opinions are the bedrock of a vibrant democracy. That's how we get to the good stuff. It's not normal that half the comments of Propaganda episodes say, you say these things because you don't live in Zimbabwe. First of all, that's incorrect. But even if it was, there's absolutely nothing special about the things that I say in these episodes. These are not state secrets. Most of this information is available in newspapers, state newspapers. No one is being insulted here. Well, some people are being insulted. The moment we strengthen our institutions, everything falls into place. A stronger reserve bank means a stronger currency. A stronger currency means a stronger Zimbabwe. It means a stronger batter. A stronger Ministry of Local Government means a stronger and stricter council. It means no flea markets in front of Edgar's, or fuel stations every 2 kilometers, or cluster developments on top of wetlands. A stronger electoral commission means the army gets to stay in the barracks. But if there's an institution that is in desperate need of our collective protection, it's the Constitution. I believe in the 2013 Constitution. I believe in the things that it stands for and the things it seeks to protect. I don't like how we as a people have become accustomed to the term constitutional amendment. I'm not a fan of how certain individuals keep looking for ways to bastardize the Constitution for personal gain. This is why I'm desperate for the president to be telling the truth when he tells us that he is a constitutionalist, that when his 2 terms are up, he will vacate the presidency. I guess time will tell. This has been another episode of Propaganda with Kandoro. I want to say all the best to the new team at OK Zimbabwe because OK Green Challenge. Hopefully next week, Data Blessed will be back doing what it does. Until then, stay safe.